Okay, welcome to another video from Dance Studio Manager. But actually, what we're looking at here is another software product that we work closely with called SendGrid. We'll be discussing actually three services today: SendGrid, PostmarkApp, and Nexmo. The first two are for email, and the last one is for text messaging. And I mostly on this screen, I want to draw your attention over here on the left-hand side. I can't click on the links because then I would be showing actual email addresses on the screen. But the main ones are bounces, spam reports, blocks, invalid. So why it's so important to use a service like this? I would love to tell you that our Dance Studio Manager does all these things, but this is a company that's been working for years on mastering the delivery of email so that the maximum number of your customers get an email and you have a good reputation. And that's, if you don't have a good reputation, your email is just not going to get out. So if an email bounces, maybe the server wasn't available, it was just a fluke, what's going to happen next is it won't keep sending that email to that customer over and over again. If you try to send again, you need to come in here and check your bounces. And if there's been some bounces, you can go in there and uncheck them and say, well, I think that email is okay. So try again next time. Spam reports, well, you don't really want to uncheck, because if someone has reported you as spam and then you try again, boy, your reputation is going downhill quickly. Blocks is similar, where the server blocks you. They might think your IP address, or you're trying to do a phishing attack or something like this. But I mean, imagine if someone did get a hold of your email address and they sent some bad email. Well, this service is going to protect you from getting a worse and worse reputation. And then invalid. If you mistyped one of the email addresses, but that domain name actually exists, and you keep trying to send to that domain name over and over again, it might be Yahoo or Google even, and that server keeps rejecting you, guess what happens? Your reputation goes downhill. So a service like this protects your reputation in sending emails so that you can send mass emails out and, do it well. Now, I was going to show you, this service can be used for free, but there definitely are some limitations. So let's look at them now. And then we'll get to the next service. So under the SendGrid.com plans and pricing, they do have a free tier, and it's not bad. For $0 a month, you can send out, up to 100 per day. Actually, the first month you send as many as you want. If I were to show you, they also have things like they can show you that attachments were delivered, and they can show you who opened their emails, things like that. You get all those features in this for free if you don't send more than $100 emails per day. Now, if you really like the service, or you really need to send more than 100, messages per day, then you do get stuck with going up to the $14.95 per month tier. But we have some customers, they definitely find that not to be too expensive for them, because sending the email is very important to them, and it increases their business. You can take that $14.95 down to $10 if you go over to, I'm going to go to PostmarkApp, PostmarkApp.com. They're a competitor with SendGrid. There's some other services that pretty much they plug in the same way, and really all you have to do is get an account with them, and then we just add the settings for you, and you're up and running. You don't even realize you're using the service. You just send it, from our software, you can just send the email and it goes. You don't have to think about it. So this $10 per month price, they're not free. They don't have a free plan that I'm aware of, but you can send up to 10,000 emails per month for $10. So that's a pretty good deal. And the last one I was just going to briefly mention is if you're going to be sending text messages, the service that we typically bolt on is Nexmo. It's already in our software. You get an account. There's a username and password. You put it in the little box, and you're up and running. You can send texts. You could do it in a couple minutes. This service is not free, but it's pretty inexpensive. We'll look at the pricing. If you're in Australia, it is quite expensive. But if you're in the United States, I believe Canada too, you can see it's 75 cents per thousand, which would be per email, which would be about $7.50 per thousand. I'll check Canada. I believe Canada is not too bad either, but let's double check it. Oh, it's even less expensive in Canada, so $7.10 per thousand. I think you have to get like a line, this 84 cents per month, so it ends up being about $8, you know. And then, but Australia, unfortunately, it's kind of limiting. And we've even investigated text messaging services that are based in Australia, and they're expensive too. So if you do the math on this, it's $58 per thousand. So that's pretty expensive to send out text messages. I believe we actually do have a couple of Australia customers that actually pay that, but it's quite expensive, you know. Yeah, that is an overview of the services. Again, our software, we want to focus on making the best possible dance studio software to manage your classes and so forth. But we don't have the kind of years and resources that someone who specializes in email sending does. So we just highly encourage you to use their services. We can send from our server for free, but it's not as easy to maintain a high reputation than if you use one of these services. So okay, well, that's what I wanted to talk about, but it's a question that comes out often, and I wanted to answer it. So hopefully.